Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Career Happy Hour. We are so excited that you are joining us tonight. We are going to give everyone just a few minutes of just about a minute to get that alert and to come on and pop in for our amazing episode of Wealthy Wednesday. Everyone, you will need to make sure you are in the building for this episode of Wealthy Wednesday. As you pop in, you know the routine. Go ahead and drop in your name, where are you tuning in from, and what are you sipping on? We will get started here in just a few minutes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Career Happy Hour. We are so excited for you to be able to join us tonight. And when I tell you we have another amazing guest co-host with us tonight, oh my goodness, you are definitely going to want to tune in to this one live and have your questions ready. We have an expert in the building who is here to pour into you for Wealthy Wednesday. For those of you who do not know me, I am LaShena Recruitalina, your six-figure career brand coach. I am here to help you monetize your career so that you can stay recruitable, visible, and profitable, all while doing what? Rocking your oomph, that secret sauce that is your oomph. And so we are going to make sure that as we continue our career happy hours, that we're continuing to bring you amazing guest co-hosts that have experience and have nuggets to be able to inspire and motivate you to know that earning six figures is definitely possible. So we're on a mission to normalize earning six figures. And remember, six figures it does not stop at $100,000. Oh no, it actually begins at $100,000 and it goes all the way up to $999,999, one digit shy of $1 million. And so I'm going to make sure that all of the things that I pour into you at Career Happy Hour, that it is giving you the tools and the techniques so that you can either get to 100,000 and six figures and beyond, so you can continue growing in that millionaire club that we are all going to make sure that we reach. We have some folks that are tuning in. Thank you so much. Kim and Co, it is so great to see you. What are you sipping on tonight, my friend? My cousin Cuz from Montgomery, Alabama. We also have another viewer who is tuning in, and on this, make sure that you put in your name, because on some platforms it doesn't show up your name. So just make sure that you pop in your name when you're tuning in, and so we can make sure that we shout you out. We love to have our guests in the audience that are participating, engaging, and commenting and asking questions. Well, we're going to go ahead and get the party started for Career Happy Hour. Hopefully you have your beverage of choice in hand. And we have Christine up in the house. Hello, Christine. We have Marsha, who's sipping on her H2O. Thank you guys for joining. So our guest co-host tonight is, let me just give you a little bit of background before I bring her on stage. Our guest co-host is Rosche Brown, Dr. Rosche Brown. She's a licensed clinical psychologist, radio guest, and professor. Dr. Brown challenges her audience members to remix their thinking to cause a mind shift into a new way of being on the journey of spiritual, psychological, and financial empowerment. In her blended approach of spiritual teachings and life applications, Dr. Rosche delivers impactful teachings in workshops, motivational talks, and one-on-one coaching sessions. She infuses psychological principles in her interactions to create rich and deep experiential learning environments. On Sunday mornings, listeners tune in to 106.1 KMEL's World Hit Gospel Show, where they hear Dr. Rosche alongside Bishop Keith Clark to hear her empowerment and self-esteem building techniques. She's a lifelong learner, and she has achieved her PhD in psychology at the amazing age of 25. She is regarded as a thought leader on remixing clinical and academic principles to serve all of today's clientele. I want to welcome to the virtual stage the one, the only, the Doctor of Rethinking Your Money. Welcome to the stage, Dr. Rosche Brown.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, the Recruitalina. I love it. Yes, I am so excited to be at the Career Happy Hour.
Oh, thank you so much for being here, especially with the time difference and with your busy schedule, for you to take some time to come and talk with our viewers here. So grateful to have you up in the house. And our tradition serves us here at Career Happy Hour. Please do tell us, Dr. Rosche, what are you sipping on as we have our chit chat tonight?
I know. So I should be sipping on some wine, but I am sipping on some H2O for today because I'm trying to get this healthy thing in my life together.
Okay. Well, we take H2O because, we all need some H2O in our life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have plenty of our viewers in the audience that is sipping on some H2O as well. We have Siobhan, who is sipping on some hard cider in the ATL.
Yes.
We have Marv Austin, who's tuning in from Nashville. We have Nigeria, who's sipping on some sangria from Pensacola. Hello, everyone. Hopefully I didn't miss some folks for shouting out in the audience. We so appreciate you in all of your engagement. Please get your questions ready. So please start us off, Dr. Rosche. Tell us a little bit. Introduce yourself. I introduce you, but please introduce yourself because I love your introductions. And a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yes, definitely. So my name is Dr. Rosche Brown, also known as the Doctor of Rethinking, because I help people to remix their thinking, right? It all starts in your thinking so you can make money, manage money, and of course, multiply that money. Who in here doesn't want to multiply your money and make it grow? So I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. I've been doing that work since 2006. And a couple of years ago, I added on the idea of finances because I realized people struggle when it comes down to their money. So don't you understand that there's like a psychology to the way that you save and spend your money? right? And so I'm really here to help people with their mindsets around money. I'm also a licensed life insurance agent. And so with this month being an amazing month of September, it is actually Life Insurance Awareness Month. So just wanting people to be aware that they need life insurance, get protected if you're not protected, but also, get the right amount of coverage if you need that as well. So that's me.
Awesome. I love that. And, I did not even know that there was a thing as Life Insurance Awareness Month, but so glad to hear it because, that's we can unpack that a little bit more, but I have a personal story to tell on that topic. So I want to make sure that we talk a little bit about that before we dig in a little bit. I want to, one of the other traditions here at Career Happy Hour is that we talk about a person's career story, right? Because it's not usually this A to Z direct line. There's usually a lot of zigzag. And I read off that you completed your degree, your doctorate degree at 25. Yes. Did I read that right?
Yes.
That whole thing. So one of the traditional questions that we ask is, what is it that you wanted to be when you grew up? When people ask you, Rosche, as a little kid, what is it that you want to be when you grow up? What did you tell them?
So interesting enough, the reason why I was 25 is because I always kind of knew what I wanted to do. So when I was really young, I had decided that I was going to be either a pediatrician or a psychologist. So initially it was pediatrician. So very, very young, elementary school, I was like, somebody's going to call me doctor. I just knew that that's what was in my spirit. I remember my big mama, she had the diabetes, the sugars. Yeah. My
big mama too.
Yeah. So she had the diabetes and I used to give her shots. And so I was like, I'm going to be a doctor. And so the whole family just really, spoke that into me, our little doctor. And then when I became about 14 years old, it was 14. I was having this dream about my life and I had met a psychologist. And so it was just a person who was just at my school. And she wasn't my psychologist. I didn't even know what therapy was. But I saw her and I just thought she was amazing, at just being who she was. And I was like, oh, wow, she's getting to know everybody's business at the school. That's all I really understood at the time. And I was like, I want to know everybody's business at the school too. And, she took me under her wing, my sophomore year. I became a peer counselor. And so she kind of gave me a couple of her techniques on how to deal with conflict. So I used to do conflict mediation at my school when I was a sophomore. So I was like, I get to know about every fight and all the inwardness of the fight, So I thought it was pretty cool. And so that's what I went to school for. I ended up going to school in New Orleans, actually. So even though I'm from California, so I don't know who's from Cali that's tuning in now or on the replay. But I went to school in New Orleans because I went to Xavier University. They were number one in placing African Americans into medical school. I was like, well, I need to go to medical school. So why wouldn't I go to this school? Yeah. I wanted to go to a HBCU as well. And so that's what I did. I went to the HBCU. I was psychology pre-med, and they really teach you towards medical school. And then there was a little bit of a shift. What happened is I was there. I tried to take the MCAT. You know what the MCAT is? So the MCAT is the exam for medical school.
Okay.
And it is an 8-hour test. 8-hour test. And they're asking you all these different questions. And everything on this test is reading comprehension. You know how you have those passages and the questions? So pretty much the whole entire test was set up like that. And I come from a different type of environment. So when I was younger, I grew up in what people would call the hood. Right? And so nobody in my family had ever gone to college. Nobody, even in my environment, my community had ever gone to college. And I was kind of raised on watching TV. I wasn't that little girl who was reading all the time. And of course, I could read and I did really well in school, but reading is not my passion. It was very hard for me to read. So when I got into those reading comprehensions, my mind was somewhere else. If somebody asked me the question directly, I understood, but it's very difficult for me to do that test. And so my life shifted. You know, it was like a little stumbling thing. I was upset. I was like, oh no, I'm not going to be a doctor. What am I going to do?
Oh.
You know, so it was one of those moments. I would definitely have called myself, I was only like 21. I was definitely depressed, you know, but I didn't know what depressed was at the time. But I was like, what is my life? I only had plan A. I had no plan B. Like, what am I going to do? And, you know, just in straight prayer, you know, very like spiritually oriented, even when I was younger, and I was praying and I was like, God, give me something. And he told me to look up some graduate schools because I was psychology pre-med. My bachelor's was psychology.
Oh.
So but I was pre-med where my minor is chemistry, and I took a lot of science courses and everything to get ready for medical school. But I did have the psychology there. And so I ended up, you know, started looking into graduate schools, and it kind of put some fire under me. And I started to apply to grad school, and then I got done right away. So without even having a break, and I didn't even take a year off or anything. I just went straight into school. And I remember them telling me, I think you're too young for the program. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to get in. And they were like, we're just going to bet on you. And I was like, I'm going to show you I could do this.
Yes.
And yes, I did it. Pretty
wow.
much.
I mean, there's just so much packed into that story. I know you just zoomed through that and was smiling the whole way through it. Like it was just nothing, but that was you one of the key things, many key things there, but I can definitely relate to, you know, being from the hood, as they say, yes. And being around people who, you know, didn't have advanced degrees and didn't necessarily push you in that direction. It was just about making a living, earning money to take care of yourself. And so for you to know at such an early age that you wanted doctor, you know, attached to your name, and that just really it set the vision for you. It set the path for you, that journey that you knew what you were striving after. I think is just so key for all of us, regardless of what age you are.
Yeah.
As long as you set out some type of vision. What do they say? They say shoot for the moon and fall.
And if you fall, you'll still land amongst the stars.
Yes.
So one of my favorite. Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
And the other thing too is that you attached yourself with some type of mentor at such an early age.
Yeah.
That kind of took you under her wings and said, hey, here's some tips. Here's some techniques. Try them out, which gave you a little bit of like an opening to the door to see if you even liked it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's just just a lot of things that has, you know, set you up to, you know, see where the direction you want it to go. And then now what you're doing, I say your day job, because, you know, I talk about my day job and then things that I do every other hour of the day.
Yes.
And so in your day job, you literally really are a doctor.
Yes, exactly. Yes. I work at a hospital. You know, I do like psych consults and evaluate people for, you know, if they're like suicidal, homicidal. You know, I do intakes and, you know, give people coping skills around their life. Like I'm real, like actually psychologist. That is my day job. But there's just so much more inside of me.
Yes. I know the feeling all too well, which is where I love, you know, being able to talk about, you know, what you do outside of your day job, because I think very similar to me in that my day job gives me an outlet to some of my passion, but I found that there was a gap. I was missing. I felt as if I couldn't serve all of the people that God was pointing in my direction just with my day job.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I completely hear you. Like it was interesting because money has always been a passion of mine as well. And so when I first started in this work, like as a psychologist, so I was so young, right? So I didn't want to work with adults because, for the most part, they had so much life experience on me, right? Like you imagine being our age and talking to a 25-year-old to tell you about life, right? Like, it wasn't working out so well. So I was like, I'm going to only, work with young people. And I was working with people like pretty much like high school age students.
Mm-hmm.
And I started working with transitional age youth, the youth that are like just starting to become adults, like 16 through 21. And the biggest issue that kept on coming up was money. Kept on coming up. And, especially I worked with foster youth. So as they were transitioning out of foster care, they had to now become independent.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh no, like, so I was a different type of therapist, right? So I'm not the therapist that only sits on the couch. I did community-based therapy. We were going to the grocery store. Like that was a therapeutic session.
Wow.
Going to the grocery store, knowing what your budget was, so we have $75. Let's look at what are we going to be buying before we get in there. Because one of my pet peeves of something that I seen when I was younger is I hate for people to go to a grocery store, put a whole bunch of stuff in their basket, and then get up there and can't afford it. It was a thing that I saw happen in my family here and there, and people would be like, "Oh, take that back. We don't need that." And that was like one of my pet peeves. So I wanted to teach the girls. It wasn't all the girls; it was boys too. But I wanted to teach the children like how to prevent that. Right? Like you can do a running budget in your mind, and how much are you spending right now? And so I started to teach them that. Started to teach them like, let's get a savings account. So I was like all these little basics that I realized that they needed. But I was really molding their mind around money, right? Because their family and their community wasn't doing well with it. So that was kind of how it started. The money part started.
Yeah. And it definitely is the mindset of it. And especially, as we talk about the community that we've come from, just like college or advanced education wasn't necessarily something that we saw.
Yeah.
Also investing and saving money and multiplying money, which I love how you talk about multiplying money. And I know we have a lot of folks here, who want to continue to grow their income. They want to grow. I talk about monetizing your money, monetizing your career to get the money that you are looking for so that you can continue to grow in six figures. Because I think sometimes six figures seems like it's such a out of touch reality, as if once you reach six figures, you made it. It's like, no.
Exactly.
You've not made it just because you've reached six figures. You've only just begun.
Yes, definitely.
So I want, all of the audience members, please drop in your comments or drop in your questions for Dr. Rosche. But, they may not, as I was thinking about this show and preparing for it, I said, you know what? People may not even know what questions to ask.
Yeah.
So what are some of the I guess the usual questions that you get from people when they don't even know what they're trying to ask? What do you see that comes up in the conversations?
So many things come up. I would say the thing that really struck me maybe about a year ago is everybody always tells me I don't know how to manage my money. Like that's what often always starts. You know what I mean? I don't know how to manage my money. And then it really dawned on me, like that's actually some type of story we're telling ourselves that's not actually like legit. And the reason why I say that is, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, or you maybe at least know somebody who's experienced this, where, you get paid on a Friday and you're going to get paid in 2 weeks. Right. Mm-hmm. And so now you're on the middle of that and you're like, okay, I got a week until payday. Right. And you're sitting there, you're looking at your money and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Okay, now I can't go a lot of places because I only got this one, gas tank full that can help me get to work. Or then you'll say to yourself like, oh no, I can't eat out right now because my money is not right. I don't get paid until Friday. Right. And so you start to, start doing all these different things. Kids start asking you for stuff. You be like, no, not until Friday because I don't get paid until Friday. Right. So you start to do all these things, and that's called managing. That's called managing. The problem is that we do it too late.
Oh.
Right? So it's not that we don't have it. We have that ability when our money is low. We know how to like decide, okay, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. We know how to put boundaries on ourselves once our money is low. But what we have to work on is how do you put boundaries on yourself when your money is going well, right? When you start to get paid, right? Like now you start to tell yourself, okay, well, what can we eat out? Okay, we might be able to eat out once, but maybe not eat out, every single day until I'm broke. I often tell people, be broke before you're broke, right? So I feel like we don't have good limitations on what we consider broke. For some people, broke is like I have no more money, but broke for me, it could mean, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I got like $10,000. Oh my God, I'm going down. You know what I'm saying? Like I have less than 10,000. Oh my God, what am I doing? Oh my God, my credit cards are above $500. Like that can feel a stressful, anxious state for me. And so you want to create other boundaries. Like where is that place that's going to cause that little anxiety inside of you to say, I need to do something different?
Yeah.
And so I feel like that has been like one of the biggest issues that I've noticed. And that's why I was like, this is a mindset thing. It's a mindset thing more than a money thing. Another area, that's kind of like boundaries with self, but boundaries with others is a big deal, right? So a lot of times, particularly in, I'll say like African-American community, I will say this for my own experience is because I came from the hood and nobody in my family went to college and nobody in my community did, I started making money fast, right? I'm 25 years old and I have like a real career.
Yeah.
Like I have a career. So now I'm making so much money. However, I'm not sure what to do with it and people are asking for it.
Oh, yes.
So now people are starting to ask. They're like, oh, you have it. So, let me go ahead and ask you for it. And it's difficult when you're 25 and people who are adults, right? Like your aunties, your uncles, those people are asking for money and you don't know how to have those same boundaries with them. Yeah. You know what I mean? The same way. Or people even your age, your friends are asking for money. And so I feel like, having to make sure that you develop those boundaries to be able to say no to people, in advance and not to like hold all that guilt on the inside because you have to say no, and I think the reason why we feel the guilt is because we feel like, oh, I have it, so I should be able to give it. But you should be directing your money a little bit better where you have like money going towards savings, money going towards investments. So when somebody says, they need $1,000, you're like, well, I really don't have it because it's earmarked for other things.
Right? And it's not a lie, right? It is not a lie. You don't have it because it's already allocated.
Exactly. And so I think that's the biggest thing is like, make sure that you're allocating your money, direct it. It needs placement. Money is a relationship like anything else, right? It needs like attention. It needs us to nurture it and it needs us to give it some guidance, and if you don't guide it, it'll just, take over. Right. You know what I mean?
And when you talk about, managing your mindset in that way, it really makes me think about, from a career perspective, working with people in their corporate careers, they, it's a lot of times it's, oh, if I could just get this raise, oh, if I could just get this bonus, if I could just get that next level. And then when they get to that next level, they think the money is going to be just so much more pouring into their bank account when in actuality, they're still broke. We're going to put these air quotes up for those that are catching us on all of the podcast platforms. Yes. Air quotes that they're still broke. And that's because from a mindset perspective, they've not shifted that. So really, if you don't shift that, you're thinking on money, it does not matter how much money you make.
Yes.
You will still be broke.
Yes, exactly.
It ain't nothing worse than a broke millionaire.
Come on. I know, right? And it happens all the time, right? That's what I'm saying. Like you see people who came from nothing end up getting so much, right? Like we see it with lottery, people, they become broke right away, right? And their whole entire life, oh, I just want to hit the lottery so my life will be better. You know what I mean? And then they within like I think 3 to 5 years, they're all broke again. Right. So you imagine that means that's clearly a mindset. So every time we're saying, oh, I need more money, what our ask should be of the universe, God, is help me to manage what I have. You know what I mean? So you can then I can attract more. Right. Help me to manage what I have so I can attract more. So even when you were talking about like the 6 figures, making 6 figures, it feels like, oh, that's it. Right. Because, I made it and I was pretty young still. And I was like, oh, I'm at 6 figures. And I was like, wow, I don't feel like I'm in overflow. What happened?
Right.
Because the further, like the more that you go up, your expenses start to change, right? So you go from having a rent, maybe renting as a roommate, to now having a mortgage. You know what I mean? Like life looks a little different, right? You might have had like a simple Honda and now you got a Mercedes, right? Like, so like your life changes. You get a little bit more luxurious in what you have because you have so much, right? And so your expenses go along with it, right? So that can't be the top, right? We still need to be able to attract more, but mainly say, I need to manage more money, manage it.
Yes, and I love this comment from the audience. It definitely starts with the shift in your mindset, 100%. That is like the key to so many things in life that we want is the way that we think about it, because our actions are a result of our thought process. That's how our arm moves, is because our brain told it to. It's the same thing with money. Our money will go where our mind tells it to go.
Exactly.
And so I want to make this translation or connection maybe to when you talk about life insurance, because if the audience is anything like me, it feels like everybody's selling insurance these days. Everybody's selling life insurance. And you see all of these advertisements and everybody doing it. And it's like, okay, you get your insurance through your job. You get some insurance, which I definitely recommend, even though you have insurance through your employer that they pay for, that you still get your life insurance outside of that you keep, because those usually through your employer are not portable. Once you leave, that's where they stay, and you're continuing to get older. So then that means you have higher rates. But then there's, all these other things. So please help all of us. What's the connection with life insurance and how you direct your money?
So I think that, a lot of times when we think about life insurance, our main thought process is like taking care of our family once we're gone. Right. So we think of what is actually the terminology is the death benefit. We think about upon my, my passing, that my family is going to be okay. Right. And and majority of us only think they're going to be able to bury me. Right. That's the main thing that we think of, is like, they're going to be able to bury me. However, there's so much more to life insurance. And so that's why it's like the foundational piece to your financial plan. And I think that most of us don't see it as such. Life insurance has a lot more benefits while you're living, but a lot of us who are just, layman people, we don't tap into it. We don't tap into all the living benefits. So, there's one living benefit that they have where it's like, if you get diagnosed with like cancer, heart attack, stroke, you're not able to do your activities of daily living, right? Like bathe yourself or whatever. And a lot of us are like, that's not going to happen to me, but everybody it's ever happened to, they've always thought it's not going to happen to them. Right. Like, that's just the common thing. We look at statistics. I mean, I think it's every 30 seconds, somebody has a stroke. Every 40 seconds, somebody has a heart attack. You know what I mean? So like, even in this time period that we're on this, live, this happy hour,
that's
somebody out here not happy.
Wow.
Somebody out here not happy, So I think that is something to know. So we should make sure that we are reviewing our life insurances, make sure that we have the right type, going in. Does it have that living benefits, that I heard about? And then additionally, it has a savings component. So we sometimes people hear it's a cash value, but there's a savings component inside of life insurance. And so you might have a $300,000 policy, but you also can be having like a savings account that's growing $50,000, $60,000, $70,000.
Wow.
And that money, right? That money is multiplying, right? It's growing with some good stuff called compound interest. That's that multiplying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't sleep on compound interest, right? You know what I mean? It's growing at like high levels of interest, 7 to 8%. You're not getting that at your bank. You know, so if money is going to be sitting somewhere, why not sit somewhere that it's going to do something for you, right? We want to be making smart money moves. And so a lot of us don't understand that that's like, you know, part of the process. And we don't understand how life insurance works. And because I think we get a little scared about life insurance, you know, it represents, you know, like, oh, I'm talking about the end days, right? We already so focused, like I'm talking about the end days, and I don't want to talk about it because something in our heads from a psychological perspective believes that if we talk about it, we're going to create it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're not going to make yourself die because you prepare for it. You know what I mean? Like life is one of the things in our lives that we must prepare for.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's like the biggest thing. I think a lot of times, even within our history, you know, like we both have our big mamas, right?
Yes.
You know, that, you know, I think big mamas understood it, you know, but then there were also a couple of, you know, big mamas that, you know, it wasn't enough coverage once they passed away. Or maybe their coverage lapsed and people were like, I remember the life insurance person was coming to their house every single like week.
I remember that with the case and everything.
Yes, really used to be.
Yes.
So, you know, people and then they're like, well, how the policy lapse? What happened to the insurance? Or, you know, different things like that. And I think that made a lot of people, you know, in different generations get a little bit more skeptical about life insurance. Mainly because they didn't have the education around it, right? They didn't know that there were different types of life insurance policies, right? You know, term policies expire. Yeah, it's like it's super cheap to get it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm only paying $15 a month for this like $300,000 policy, but it's gonna go away in 10 years. You know, and I think people don't understand that. Like, wow, like I've been paying this for 10 years, and now it's no longer. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think those are the issues that people struggle with when it comes down to life insurance. And I think that's why there's a specific month, you know, that's out there, Life Insurance Awareness Month, to create awareness. Right? You're surprised at how many people, no matter how much money they make, right? Those that are at that 999, right? That even they may not be leveraging their life insurance the way that they need to. Right?
Ooh, leveraging your life insurance. Now that's a whole hashtag right there.
That's it. I'm telling you.
Yes. Well, we have some comments and some questions from the audience. So I'm trying to keep up with them. So we have, it doesn't have a name with it, but I'm thinking that this might be attached to the previous comment. It says, is it not smart for a parent to get a few life insurance policies in order for their grown children to be okay when the parent has transitioned? I was told parents should not get life insurance policies if they have grown children.
So this all depends on your goals, right? So life insurance is about goals, right? So if you have younger children, you know, the goal in that is that if you pass away before they are adults, you want them to be okay, right? And so you may have maybe a lot more life insurance during that time. Maybe you have a mixture of like some term as well as like, you know, some more permanent policies during that time, because you're like, oh, I need more at that point. But once they become adults, you know, once they end up, you know, grown and they're able to care for themselves, then you may need a lot less coverage during that time because you don't have to take care of all of their well-being as you would have to do a younger child. But if you want to give legacy, right? If you want to build a legacy, and I mean, just think about it for yourself. How would that feel in your life right now if all of a sudden you had $100,000 that was given to you, right? That can change the trajectory of your life. I've seen it actually happen. I had a good friend, her mom passed away, and she was able to now purchase a home. Right. You know, and so it can change the trajectory of people's lives by doing that. So that might be a legacy. You may want to give it to your children for that purpose. You may want to give it because you want, to make sure they can bury you. So you might have a smaller coverage during that time for your grown children. So it's really up to you. Everything's more about your goals. The issue is just to be informed about everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Goals. It starts with your goal and then you work around that. Another question that we have from the audience, can you give some examples of some life insurance companies to look into?
Yes. So there's different companies that are out there. You have some that are like, more popular of the companies, and they all do different things, right? So that's why you want to go ahead and get educated, have an agent who's going to explain everything to you. But some of my like top ones, I love Fidelity and Life Guarantee Insurance, only because they have a really good way of how the money grows. American National, if you have to get a term policy, right? I mean, there's also, trains of thoughts that believe that you should get term policy and invest the rest of the money, right? Because permanent policy could be more expensive. American National has some great term policies. There's another company called Emeritus that I think does really, really well. They do awesome with the living benefits. They have you can tap into it with all kind of different ailments. So those are some different kind. But you can go to your basic State Farms, you can go to your Gerbers, you can go to like Nationwide as well. But I would say look at different ones, because those that are more popular also are more expensive, even though they don't seem expensive.
Okay. That's a good segue to the next question. Is it not wise for a person to just have some life insurance, such as term, since it is more cost effective until the person can afford whole?
Yeah, I would prefer somebody to have protection than to not have protection. Right. So if you have somebody who's an agent who's saying, you only need to get like a whole life or a permanent policy, there's different ones. That's why I don't just say whole life, but, permanent policy, and they're only telling you to get permanent and telling you to wait without coverage until you're able to afford permanent. That's not going to be the best advice, right? It's better for you to go ahead and get yourself a term policy, but be educated on understanding the term policy. Because what happens is that people will think, I'm good. I have my life insurance, and they don't know their expiration dates. These are things that I have seen happen like time and time again. These are people, I'm sitting down with people who are in their 50s, got themselves a term policy when they were in their 20s. Now the term is about to expire.
Right?
So if you get the term policy, have it as a specific financial goal. I'm going to have this term policy for 2 years. My goal is on the 3rd year, I'm going to get some permanent policy, right? So you can get a mixture of both, right? There's no reason why you shouldn't have some coverage on you.
Right. Wow. That is really great advice. And it goes back to your goal. Yes. And I think many times that we're so busy with living life.
Yeah.
We're so busy, working the job. We're so busy, with the kids or with our family or with, whatever distractions of life brings our way. That's one of the things that we don't sit down and do. And I'm in a Facebook group that is all about, I can't remember the name of it now, but it's all about talking about financial goals and about wealth building, and we just have very candid conversations, like what kind of questions do you have, or what are your goals and what are you looking at doing. And one of the members says that she has, I think it's Financial Friday is what she calls it. I love that, Financial Friday. So every Friday she takes a look at her finances. Now, when we talk about finances, that's not paying your bills. Yes. Paying your bills is something you got to do anyway. Yes. But looking at your financial portfolio, what is that looking like? Is the money going where you want it to go? Is it, are you taking advantage of that compound interest, like you said, that compound interest isn't on a loan, but it's on the money and the revenue that you're bringing in. Yeah. And so is that something that, that you kind of chime in with or
Yeah,
agree with?
I definitely agree with it. I call it having a financial health day, right?
Mm,
As a psychologist, mental health, we always talk about mental health days, right? Something goes on, you need to just take a deep breath. And I think that you need a financial health day. And that can be planned as frequently as you desire, right? But I would definitely say at least have it annually. At least there should be, one time a year that you're at least going to go look at your big stuff, right? You're going to look at, hey, what is my life insurance doing? How is it producing? What is my interest rates on my life insurance? You're going to look at your pensions, right? Like, what is my pension doing? What are these stocks that I just so happen to just pick accidentally? Let me go ahead and Google them. Let me research them. Let me see, what do they do? What companies are these? Are these good companies? Is it stuff that I use? Checking out your 401ks. How is your IRA, working? Taking that time to like look at your regular brokerage accounts. Maybe you have something in Robinhood or TD Ameritrade or something like that. Going out and looking at your stocks. So this is that opportunity at least once a year to check to see where things at, but to be a very great steward of your money, I would say that you would be looking at it weekly, that you would look at all of your accounts and see what's going on and, how are things moving, right? And, what are, and thinking, talking to a financial coach, financial advisor, even just doing your own research yourself and determining like, should I have this or should I not have this? Or, and just starts to make some wise, informed decisions around your money. Start having that time thinking about how can I make more money, right?
yes.
Like you should be always like thinking about that. Maybe once a year at least, if not every week, you can say like, okay, what other talents? I call them your tags, like your price tag, right? If your
Oh,
tag is your talents, what kind of talents do you have? What are your A? What are your abilities? What are your G? What are your gifts, right? We all have, special natural talents, abilities, and gifts that we need to make sure it can make us prosperous,
mm-hmm.
right? So how can I tap into something that is so natural for me that somebody else is unable to do? If you're good at cleaning, then why don't you have a little side hustle cleaning business? You know what I mean? Or if you're good with your finances already, why are you not helping other people and learning how to manage their finances? If you are already in careers, right? And you recruiting people and that's what you do, like, how can you not bless other people to be able to get raises at their job?
Yes.
So it's more about like taking those moments, right? That quiet time to even sit and say, okay, higher power, myself, whatever you believe in, like download something inside of me to say, what is my next move, right? To actually produce more money.
Oh, wow. That is, you were speaking so many gems right there. Because it's sometimes it's just taking that quiet time
Yes.
and reflecting and
Yes.
assessing, what is it that not only, that I'm good at doing that I can then multiply, but
Yes.
then looking at things to be able to see, where is it that, sometimes we just have money that's just it's almost like a bag with a hole in it. We just
Yes.
have money just streaming out the bag, and then
Yes.
we're like, "Ooh, I need to make more money. I need to make more and more." Yeah, but if you could keep some of the money that you had and like seal up them holes,
Yes.
you would have actually more than you think you would have. I'm gonna
Let
give
me
you
just,
a real life story. I
okay.
was doing, kind of, because this is something that I'm still in my what do they call it? My growth mode. I'm still,
Yes.
there's a lot more that I want to grow as far as, managing and assessing and just really being that great steward. And one of the things that I had started doing was looking at like doing like a balancing of my checking account, which,
Mhm.
there's been times that I've not done that. It's just like,
Yes.
okay, money's in there, I'm gonna spend it. So I
Yeah.
started, I had like this template that I started, downloading the expenses in there. Come to find out, one of the restaurants had double charged me, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's the same day. The
Yeah.
charges were off by, I don't know, it was less than $10, but it's
Yeah.
almost as if they charged me one time without
Mhm.
the tip, and then I guess another time with the tip.
Oh, see? Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but I mean, that was
Mhm.
almost $100 right there that I
Yes.
saved because
Yes.
I was being a steward of my money. And I'm just giving
Yes.
that as an example because $100 is not anything to laugh at.
Oh
But
no.
it's, if it's something that is just kind of oozing out of that bag with that hole in it,
Yeah.
I want all my hundreds.
Yeah. I mean, something that when I sit down with people and I look at their like financial picture, people will have financial goals. Like I want to own a home, or I want to purchase a new car, or something like that. And the after like rent and like car note, usually the most expensive thing that people spend their money on is eating out.
Yes.
It's like, especially in this time now, I mean, like everybody knows how to DoorDash, Uber Eats, so whatever the case is. And so I
Mm-hmm.
always I tell them, I'm like, okay, well, you want a new car, but you're eating your car up, right? You want a new
Ooh.
home, but you're eating your home up. You get what I'm saying? Like, so there's like people are not noticing like you're eating these things.
Yes.
So and it's not about, and I don't live in this life or don't believe in just abstinent. Like there's certain models of finances where it's just like deprive yourself.
Mm-mm.
Right? I don't believe in that, but I do believe in some harm reduction. Pay attention, right? If you sit there and notice that you're spending $1,000 on food, right?
Mm,
Outside of your grocery bill. Outside
mm,
of your grocery bill. It's very commonplace. I'm telling you guys, very commonplace. If you notice that that's what's happening, then you can say, okay, what would it look like if I just brought that down to 700? Not even half, but
mm.
just bring it down a little bit. What else could I do with that 300? Right? Could I invest that 300 in something that can grow for me? Just something that simple. So everything is so possible and doable. We just have to pay attention. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, sometimes it's taking those baby steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
And then also, like I talk about with my coaching business, that sometimes you know how to do things, or you may not know always how to do it, but sometimes you just need someone to lock arms with you and keep
Yeah,
you accountable.
exactly. Yeah, that's it. That's
And it
it.
sounds like, that is what you have been, so successful in doing. So I want to be able to have
Yeah.
you to share with, our viewers here, if this is, what type of, individuals, do you work with? And then how is
Mhm.
it that they can get in contact with you?
Yeah. So, I work with, all kinds of people, right? However, like my main, like specific people are like women that's in healthcare, because I understand their story. I understand their pain of, what it's like to be a mental health professional, start making money, being a nurse, making good money, but not knowing how to direct it, and not, to work so hard, always working overtime, but not actually having enough money to be able to take care of like some of these advanced things, retirements and getting your own home and all that great stuff. And so what I like to do is I have a program called Rethinking Money. And the way that Rethinking Money, like works is that, I actually bring people through a 12-week process of, figuring out practical ways to manage your money. But we go into mindset stuff, how to attract more money into your life. We go into the multiplying. I'll teach you some investing strategies as well. I will help you with the life insurance, but that life insurance is a very small piece of what I actually do. More, I'm looking at like even learning how to like invest even in the stock market, as well as a way to multiply your money. So that's what I teach people to do. I have a free case study video. If you guys go to mymindonmymoney.com, so I put that there, mymindonmymoney.com. You'll get a case study video on how to change your mood, your mindset, and your money, right? Because we understand that if your money ain't right, it's going to affect your mood, right? If your mindset's not right, it's going to affect your mood and your money. And so how to, really change your mood, mindset, and money through the love method. I have a little method. We want to be in high frequency of love, no guilt, no shame. And that's what you can get at mymindonmymoney.com. If some of you guys are interested in just getting some life insurance or wanting to go over what your life insurance is during this awareness month, I will also open up my calendar and I will put that in there, in the chat as well for you guys. Okay.
Thank you so much. And when I tell you, Dr. Rosche is all about having not only your mind your money on your mind. Yeah, your mind on your money, but also your money on your body. Because when I tell you, she be decked out with her money dresses and money outfits, I'm like,
Yes.
that's what you call manifesting right there.
Yes. I love it. Yes.
You gotta like flaunt it, and then you know, you gotta show it. You know, I'm gonna do a quick sidebar here because you know we talk about, you know, sometimes in the I guess the entertainment industry, or you know, in that lifestyle, they're always like showing their money, like they, you know, they making it rain and all that. And it's like, you know what? A lot of times they just manifesting what they want. It's not necessarily what they got.
Right.
Yeah, they want.
That's true.
So we have to do the same thing in our the business of us. The business of you is what I call it, because it's all about being the CEO of you. And when you're the CEO of a business, you're going to make sure that you're looking at your financial statement. You're going to see if you are in the green or in the red. So why would you do anything different with the business of you? You've got to make sure that you know where your money is flowing, and money that's flowing will continue to flow. And then when you get tight-fisted,
that's
when the money stops.
It does. Yeah, that desperation, it can't. Yes, that's you in wrong frequency, right?
Right. That is so on point. And I see that you put your Calendly link in there, so I'm going to just put that up for everyone. And so for those that are catching us on the podcast, then it is calendly.com/Dr. Rosche /financial. So please make sure you take advantage of this this special opportunity, really, because this is not necessarily something that you offer to everyone. So thank you for offering this for our community of our Career Happy Hour crew, because we just definitely have some amazing people here who, as you see, they're just really interested in being able to up-level themselves, up-level their career, up-level their finances, so that we can all continue to, you know, to make the best of this life that we're living. And a lot of times that takes money.
It does. It definitely does.
And we want to make sure that we're flowing that energy in the right direction. So please make sure that if we have the scroller at the bottom, that you follow Dr. Rosche on all social media handles for the most part. Instagram for sure is Dr. _.
And it's Dr. Rosche everywhere else. If you can get Rosche already unique, it'll bring you everywhere.
Yes, Rosche, ROSCHE. That is that is such a unique and pretty name. Like it just, it just rolls off your tongue.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Rosche, thank you so much for joining us. We have come to the end of our time. Please do let us know what, you know, if you have any parting words, anything that you're dying to share with us, anything that's upcoming. You just have so many amazing things going on where people can connect with you outside of social media, although you give some great tips on social media. So make sure you go there. But any parting words for our audience members?
I guess the biggest thing is, you know, like I've been saying, money is a relationship. So I want you guys to pay attention to it. And I would also say, you know, get people around you involved, right? You know, get your friends to also start paying attention to their money, right? So you can be in a good circle of people who are attracting money in their lives, and you guys can feed off of each other's energy. I think that is like a extremely important thing, right? So if you want to be an entrepreneur, go get some entrepreneur friends, yo. You know, if you want to make six figures, make sure you're around people who make six figures, so you can be that other person who's also doing the same exact thing.
Oh, that is powerful. That community of people who are doing that. And that's a lot of what Career Happy Hour is about that community of those who are earning six figures and those who are aspiring, so that we can learn from each other. So, whoa. What a great great parting words that you have shared with us, because that's very inspiring and motivating. Because if you do not have that in your life, please make sure that you're tuning in, at the bare minimum, tuning in to Career Happy Hour. And
Yes.
then, of course, continuing to connect. There's been a lot of connections made here on Career Happy Hour, like in real life outside of the show.
Oh,
And
awesome.
that they're, that they're continuing to, just help motivate each other. And that's,
Mhm.
that's what this community is about. So thank you so much. It's been such a blessing to be part of, what you're doing. I think it's just amazing that you are
you.
really helping individuals to get their money right, and you do it in such a fun and engaging way that they can't help but to smile while they're like, okay, I need to get my ish together.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, LaShena Recruitalina.
Thank you. All right, guys, we are going to wrap up another episode of Career Happy Hour. We are so grateful for all of those who were able to join us live and gave us all of those great Q&As along the way and engage with us in the comments. But we know this is just the beginning. We also have those that will catch us on the replay. So make sure that when you drop in that you put hashtag replay so that we can give you some love and know that you were here. We are so tremendously grateful for this community of individuals who are we're here to support each other, pour into one another. What are some of the topics that you want to talk about? I am bringing you a variety of topics and guest co-hosts each week with just a variety of backgrounds, a variety of things that they're doing. Let us know, what is it that you want to hear about? And we want to make sure that we're bringing that to you. It is just my complete honor to be able to facilitate this time that we spend together. And I want to make sure that we're continuing to normalize earning six figures. For those who are aspiring, those who are already there, but continuing to climb the six-figure ladder, we are here for you because we want to make sure that you are staying recruitable, visible, and profitable, all while rocking your umph. Cheers, and we will see you next week.